Hi, friends. This is a recording for reading/social studies workshop for the week of December 1st when we are virtual. You can look at this lesson anytime. You might want to review it before you sit down and start writing or reading again. This will be helpful, hopefully. So if you remember in the classroom, what we have been doing is using cross-text synthesis using reading and writing. Reading and social studies, well, and writing too. And we were looking at in the classroom, if you remember me sharing the example of Mira kind of looking for subtopics in books about frogs and wanting to find information about what and how frogs eat. We did this lesson in the classroom, the mini lesson. So this was one of the slides that I had shown you, and it says here, when we use two or more texts, and remember a text is anything, it can be an article, it can be something on the website, an article from the website or a magazine, it can be a book. So when we use two or more texts to connect ideas, we are using cross-text synthesis. And we were understanding the word cross-text synthesis, the words, meaning that if you have two texts and you put them together to look for the same information, synthesizing means really combining that information. Remember, we did that. And we had these two examples, yummy frog food and what is a frog. One of the things that we do as readers is we make sure that we pause after every section. So for yummy frog food, we read the first section, paused, and asked ourselves, is there any information about eating, frogs eating, how they eat? And then you shared with me what information you highlighted. So that was another skill that you learned. So this is what we did, right? And we looked at both texts. We used both texts. We noticed that sometimes we find more information in one text than the other. And in this case, yummy frog food had more information than what is a frog. So we looked at that. And then what we did was we're combining social studies. We were looking at the Haudenosaunee, that was the original name, later on named Iroquois by the French and the English. We were looking at their religion. And I shared an example of how we can look at two texts. We have these two texts. You have them in your reading folder, the blue one, right? And how we can use the table of contents to kind of find that information on religion. And what pages would you look at? You helped me collect information about the religion of the Haudenosaunee or the Iroquois. And then that is what you were asked to do. So here it says, look at the subtopic given to you. And I should say subtopics because you have three subtopics. So each page that you created, remember the boxes and bullets, that is what you're going to be looking at. So use cross-text synthesis to find information from both books given to you. These are in your reading folder, okay? And so then, this is just an example, examples of subtopics given to you. So these are in your reading notebook and reading social studies notebook. So find the section that says social studies, find these boxes and bullets. Remember, this is a box and these points that we make here are called bullets. You're going to jot notes down. Now, some of you are already kind of on your second one. If you're done with the first one, move on to the second one. We are trying to make sure we're not writing long sentences. We're writing notes, right? The main note. So for example, if your subtopic was wampum, right? And the topic is Haudenosaunee, the Iroquois, the notes that you're taking is specific just about the wampum here. Then you're going to move on. If your subtopic is homes, you're going to look for that information in both books and write down notes. And I say that because in the classroom, remember we talked about there's a difference in writing sentences and jotting notes. That's a big skill that we're learning to do, okay? And then the creation story. Now, some of you have the creation story. Again, this has to do with what the Haudenosaunee believed in, how the world was created. So that is what you're going to read and note down those particular main points, okay? So that is what you're doing. Now, this third table, I have drawn it inside your notebook. So you'll see a third one, okay? So make sure you have notes on each one of them. Then what you're going to do is you're going to use this page. Remember how I gave this page to you? And I'll be emailing this to your parents also. You have a page like this. It says topic, and everybody's topic is going to be the same. It's going to be Haudenosaunee / Iroquois. Subtopic is going to be something like homes or wampum shells or the creation story, right? One suggestion that I have for you is to leave the illustration for the end. So write your summary. Now here it says use your notes for each subtopic. And now write a summary using the summary paper. This is the summary paper. You should have this in your reading folder. Extra sheets were emailed to your caregivers or parents. So what are you going to include in your summary? You're going to make sure there's complete sentences, there's capitals, there's periods, correct spelling of no excuse words. You have that in your little black bin. At least 4 to 5 sentences in your summary. So please don't if you're just filling up this one page, I'm going to ask you to push yourself to add some more information. Okay. And you should have a total of 3 summaries. Don't forget, a summary is including the notes that you've taken. And those notes are going to be the most important things that you want readers to know about your subtopic. When you're done writing your summary, you've checked for spelling, you've made sure that you've included all the information, as much information as you possibly can. You're going to then sketch a picture and then fill it in with color, okay? To resemble, to connect with what you have written, okay? Again, you can play this video anytime to make sure you understand what you need to do, and then do the work that you've been asked to do. Have fun doing this, and when we come back in person, I'll check in with each one of you to see where you are and how you've completed and if you need any support. Okay. Thank you for working so hard always. Okay. Bye.